The views and opinions of the host are those of the host and not of the companies they are affiliated with. No inside information is known, and if there is, it will not be revealed. Occasional bad language may be used. Hey, welcome. Episode number 3 of the Theme Park Blueprints. Drew, how you doing?
Good, and we're getting up there. We got 3 episodes now, so we are only a couple episodes away from losing track of how many episodes we have.
Oh, I know. It just depends on how much we drink before an episode.
That's true. If you ever listen in the loop, you can tell that I've definitely done that before.
I'm pretty sure when I guest host on In the Loop Live, I was pretty intoxicated myself. But anyway, enough of that. As always, hello, I'm Ryan. I'm one half of the Theme Park Guides. And joining me, as always, my partner in crime.
I am Drew, the intern, from the In the Loop podcast, the longest running theme park podcast, longest consecutive running theme park podcast ever. We have a couple more episodes than 3.
Well, we're getting there. We just have to. We're getting there.
Yeah, we got a good feedback on our last show.
We really did. We got a lot of feedback. We asked, and you guys delivered. So, surprisingly, Andrew left a comment on our Blogger, which is not a site we advertise at all. It's just kind of, where all of our stuff is kind of kept. And he said, "Awesome podcast. I love the idea of improving theme parks and exercising imagination. Great episode. This is my favorite theme park podcast for sure."
Look at that.
Wow. I did not expect that at all to come from anybody. And then our friend Brian, he emailed us, said, "Hey guys, I'm a local Atlantean and would love y'all to do SFOG for your next podcast."
That's Six Flags Over Georgia.
Six Flags Over Georgia. "I've grown up going to SFOG every summer and would love to hear your thoughts on possible future rides/attractions. He then gave his ideas for Over Georgia, which we'll use for feedback when we end up doing Six Flags Over Georgia. And then he said, "Also, what's in store for 2017? Rest in peace, bumper cars. Big fan, Brian." So that's nice.
Yeah, nice guy.
It's always nice to hear from new people.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
And of course, returning feedback from our friend Adam at CoasterCron Adam. This is about Six Flags Great Adventure. Remember, that's what we did in our last episode. He said Justice League for 2017 and an RMC T-Rex for 2018 or 19, and could be a dueler to pay homage to the Chiller.
That it could.
So I remember we chatted with him a little bit on Twitter about that.
Yeah, Twitter. Good times on the Twitter. We've got lots of new followers and likes and retweets and all that stuff. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate you, and keep spreading that good word out there.
Yeah.
All right, so if you remember in our last episode, we asked everybody to send in their home park, and we would then put those on a list and randomly choose one of those parks. We ended up getting 8 different parks here. Lucas at the Hipster Quest, he submitted California Great America and Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Makes sense, they are both really close to each other. Sean at Seamauer said Six Flags Great America. And then Adam at CoasterCron Adam said Dorney Park, Six Flags New England, and Knoebels.
I'm trying to picture where he lives, that those are his home parks. I'm sort of picturing like upper Pennsylvania.
I'm thinking maybe, in the tweet he had actually said, we already chose his with Six Flags Great Adventure, but these ones are close by.
Okay.
So I think these are like secondary parks for him.
Fair enough.
Jake at Miller, Minnesota said Valley Fair.
I love that he threw the exclamation point in there.
I know. Well, it's part of the name.
Yeah.
So, and Brian, who we just read that email from, said Six Flags Over Georgia. So we've got 8 parks here. Don't know what we're going to get. I have a random name picker already set up on the internet here with those 8 parks in it. And I'm going to pick a random name, and that's going to be the park that we get. You ready?
Yeah, I am ready. I shared my thoughts about which ones I was hoping for and which ones I was not hoping for. So let's see what we got.
I know which ones I want. I don't. So let's see. Here we go. Pick a random name and 3, 2, 1, go. Brian with Six Flags Over Georgia. We are going to Georgia.
Ah, shit. 2 Six Flags in a row.
Oh man. Well, the list was basically Cedar Fair or Six Flags. So
Sans Knoebels.
Sans Knoebels.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was a little worried about Knoebels because they have not really added that much over the past, few years. So things really haven't changed that much. Because I did a quick little look on there, and they only added like basically flying turns in Stratosphere one year and Impulse another year, and that was it. But okay,
well, to be fair, Flying Turns wasn't gonna open that year.
No, that was supposed to open like 30 years earlier.
Yeah, I bet you. If Knoebels planned, they would not have tried to open their Stratosphere and their other one in the same year.
Okay. So, my opinion of Six Flags Over Georgia, I've only ever been there once. It was to go down there. We drove from Ohio one of the weekends before Cedar Point started up. I think it was their third operating weekend of the season. We went down there to get season passes because they were the cheapest in the chain. None of us had been to that park, and we really wanted to go. So we ended up driving down there, got into the park. The park then, after everybody got in, they proclaimed that none of the rides will be running today because it's too cold and it was too windy. It was maybe about 60 degrees out and it was drizzling. So, okay, whatever. We walked around, did a couple rides, left, came back the next day, same exact thing. So, I've been to the park. It's been a couple years, but I didn't really get to ride anything. So, and I know that you've been there quite a few times.
Yeah, no, I've been there quite a few times. Probably I went the weekend after you failed to go that one year. Mm-hmm. Which I think is kind of interesting. And I had a great weekend. Nobody was there. That was back, 2010?
2009.
Okay.
Was when I went.
Okay.
Or failed to go.
Well, yeah, I think I went the weekend after you, if I remember correctly. We shared stories. And then I've been pretty much every year since then. It's my local Six Flags park. I use local in air quotes there as it's like 6.5 hours away in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the easiest one to get to or the quickest.
But I try to go at least once a year. I have a Six Flags season pass that I buy from that park every year. And it's great. Open from March until New Year's.
Yeah, and then you said their Christmas thing is actually really good, and it's a good time to go.
Yeah, I definitely recommend going Sundays during their Christmas event. Don't go Saturdays. Saturdays are very busy. Sundays a lot less busy. One thing you're going to have to worry about during Christmas time is no Flash Pass, and which I think is weird. Like, why not sell it?
I would figure that they would.
And then the other thing they have is it's limited selection of rides. Basically every big roller coaster is open though. And then your other thing that they've got going for it is most of the rides are on one train operation, with the fact that maintenance has to already start the year-round refurbishments.
Yeah. So let's get into this. So, let's look back at their past couple of years and see what they've put into that park and what they've removed and any big changes they've made. 2012, they really didn't add anything. It was, it seemed to be a year that they removed the wheelie, which was their Enterprise, which was one of the rides that was running when I was there. So, I did ride that.
Have you ridden it at its new home now?
Where's that one at?
It's the Fun Spot one.
Oh, yes, I have. 'Cause they were complaining that it was one that was once underwater, so it doesn't run that great. 2013, they added in Sky Screamer. Not one of the super crazy big ones, only 242 feet tall. And they removed the Southern Star Amphitheater, which was the one that was back there behind Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else do we have here? We've got 2014, since they removed the Southern Star Amphitheater, they put in Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, which was something I did not expect them to do at all. Ever since, because they have Whitewater. Is that what the place is called?
I want to think it's called Whitewater, not positive, but it's not exactly right there. It's probably 20, 25 minutes away from the other park.
But it's ran and owned by Six Flags, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing that's weird to me, is that they would jeopardize their own water park by putting another one in their park. I don't know. And also 2014, they added Holiday in the Park. And that's been doing really good for them since they did that.
Been expanding every year.
Mm-hmm. 2015, we saw additions to the Gotham City area, and they put in the Joker Chaos Coaster, which is one of the Larson Loopers, and Harley Quinn Spin Sanity, which was it a new Tilt-A-Whirl or just the retheme of the Tilt-A-Whirl?
Not 100% sure on this one. I know it's new to the location. However, it might not necessarily be new to the park.
I do not know as well. And then this year, 2016, the big thing that they did was the New Revolution, where they added VR to Daredevil Dive, which you got a chance to do.
Yeah.
And you said that the visuals were slightly off from the motion of the ride.
Yep, about a full second off.
Yeah, that sounds terrible to me.
Which is funny because now I've done 3 VR coasters, and it's been the only one that's not been lined up.
Weird. Interesting. They also changed Bugs Bunny World to Bugs Bunny Boomtown. And then right next door, they added in the DC Super Friends area, which I was surprised they hadn't done that, or a park hasn't done that in years before. I mean, that seems like a pretty popular thing to me. Surprisingly, Ninja got repainted and rethemed with new trains that opened later in the season they had a, what was it? It was a poll to let the actual public choose the name of the ride, and they chose Blue Hawk.
Yeah, the other choice was like Commandeer, Blue Hawk, and I forget the other one.
Flight something, or I don't know. It was another one of those kind of things. So, Blue Hawk has opened. And then they announced and closed the Dodge City bumper cars, which were right there next to Superman as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads us up to 2017, next year, which I'm automatically thinking I know what's going in. Probably the same exact 2017 decision we made for Six Flags Great Adventure as well.
Definitely could see that going there. However, if you pull up your Google Maps or your Bing Maps, I'm not sure which one you like better.
I'm there.
You'll see that the area for the bumper cars is not that big, and it's definitely built into a hill.
That is true.
So I'm wondering, do we think the Justice League ride fits there?
I mean, initially I would have done Justice League back by the amphitheater, but that's now a water park. But there's pathways behind. There is pathways behind the bumper cars that are not guest paths. They are. Let's see here. They're not guest paths. They're just paths.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to the park map on their website, there's plenty of room there for one. But if you actually look at it, it looks like it's all maintenance drives and everything like that. It might be a tight fit, but I think they could extend out into the midway slightly and use that plot. I don't think they can use the building. It'd have to be torn down.
Uh-huh.
But I think they could do it.
Okay.
I think there's room there for the Justice League Battle for Metropolis, which would also make sense because it would be right there next to Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the Justice League? And the DC Super Friends is not that nearby. And then Gotham's on the other side of the park, so we're not including those. But it would fit right there. And then I would say do like a spruce up of that area and maybe put in a restaurant, meet and greets. I think that's just, it's a cheaper turnaround for an area, and it adds a new ride.
Yeah, I think you could probably eat out some of the games area there too, just to improve the midway.
I think so too.
It's also probably the ugliest section in Six Flags Over Georgia, except for maybe the Goliath games midway. It's a very pretty park that has weird, ugly spots.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was there. there's just random little things that stick out like a sore thumb, but then the rest of the park flows really nicely. Like their main street-esque thing is wonderful. It's a beautiful little section, but then you turn the corner and you're like, huh? So
yeah.
So I think we're doing Justice League. Put in an eatery of some sort and meet and greets. Spruce up that whole area. And call it they're not expensive rides, so that's a cheaper way to do it. It's kind of adding a thrill, and it's kind of adding a family all at the same time, because the new they didn't add any new thrills the year before, so I think that could build them up to something a little bigger. So you think we're good maybe to move on to another year, or you still have maybe some ideas for 2017?
I think we can move on. I think the Justice League area, if that's what's going there, you haven't seen a whole lot of Justice Leagues in the past where they've done that plus something else. So I could see that. Now, the only thing I'm wondering is, do you think 2017 puts VR on a different coaster?
See, that's something we didn't really think about with Six Flags Great Adventure, because they didn't have one. But this is the park that has, they have VR on Daredevil Dive. Does that mean they stick around for another year on that ride? Is it something that maybe transitions to a different ride? I personally think it's going to stay on. I think it'll be like have they gone out of technical rehearsal yet, or are they still in, rehearsal mode?
I have no idea. I don't think you can possibly not be in rehearsal mode. If you're doing 120 guests an hour, it doesn't seem like that's your main goal.
So I think it's going to stick around at least another season to see if it's something they, could do, and maybe add it on to another ride later in the season as well. Maybe put it on to a Blue Hawk, or maybe even doing that Superman thing on this one, because you have Galactica with air. So it's possible to do it on the flying coasters. I think that one could be kind of cool if you were flying around with Superman.
Yeah,
or as Superman.
I could see that too. In my opinion, I think Daredevil Dive, they've decided it will not be the good coaster for it, and I think we'll see it on something else. I'm thinking. I think the Superman one is an easy choice because you make the animation once and then you got it for all three rides.
True. With
only really slight modification for the two that have the dual station versus the Great Adventure has only the single station.
Yeah, I can see that. I like that idea. So I'm going to agree with that and say let's move it off of Daredevil Dive. Make a Superman ride. Make a Superman VR. I kind of like that idea better than Daredevil Dive. I don't think the story of New Revolution really is that great. I think it's more or less, I would rather have an original IP or tack it on to, an IP that they already have in the parks, thus Superman or Batman or, something like that. Plus right now, all the DC movies, they're big, so you might as well keep capitalizing on that while you can.
Yes.
All right. 2018, what are you thinking?
I think this park has gotten a lot of off years in a row. And so I think we're going big investment 2 years in a row.
Okay.
And I'm going to say over by Gotham City in that amphitheater.
I was just looking at that.
I think that plot of land is going to get the Great Adventure area where you are going to have a free fly coaster put in there.
Okay.
It's not going to be the Joker, because obviously Joker Chaos Coaster is right there, and they also have a Joker Kids Coaster.
And they have a coaster themed after the Riddler, too.
Uh-huh.
So, do we attempt it maybe a Mr. Freeze? Something like that. Any of them. Any of the villains. I think we could do a 4D coaster right there.
I think with Surprise Squad or Suicide Squad coming out,
You think we'd get a Suicide Squad ride?
I don't think necessarily getting a Suicide Squad, but I think you would. There's a good chance one of those villains is going to be popular enough from that movie that Six Flags isn't dumb.
I could see Deadshot, the Will Smith character. That's one that they could do. Or, I mean, with already enough villains there, that could become, your boy Wonder. That could be Robin. It could be something. That could be Robin's acrobatic
Adventure.
spin or whatever. Because he, Dick Grayson was a gymnast. Or not a gymnast. He was a acrobat, so...
Yeah, I think that area of land, if they're not going to put the 4D, or they're not going to put the Justice League there, I think that is where your free spin's going to go.
Yeah, I like that idea. Are you thinking to go with the same layout as all the other ones, or are you thinking maybe a newer layout?
Oh, yeah. Six Flags in their press release talked about how they're building similar rides everywhere. So I'm thinking you're going same layout.
Okay. Same exact layout. You've got that. Yeah, there's plenty of space right there for it. There's plenty of room. Do they even have the amphitheater on their map anymore? Yeah, it's still there. Do they even use that amphitheater for anything? Does that have the stunt show?
It's like the cheerleading competitions and stuff like that.
The Axis Arena is what they call it now. So.
I kind of miss those Batman stunt shows. I thought they were pretty cool. I'm sort of shocked they don't exist anymore. They had to have just been so expensive.
I got to see it at Six Flags in New England the first time I went. That was the only one that actually still had it. So, but I do like the stunt shows. I wish more parks had did stuff like that. But yeah, that was I think then also it adds a little more sprucing up to Gotham City. Maybe do something else. Put in, like a Penguins Twisty Treats or, stuff like that. Is there Windseeker or whatever, Wave Swinger, is that themed to
Crime Wave? It's themed to all the villains.
Okay, good. I've always liked that name for Crime Wave. So, okay. Yeah, I like that. It's a good addition for Batman, because you've got that year you're going to have Justice League come out. So you want to have Justice League comes out next year actually. So yeah, they'll be able to go off of the Justice League, hype and everything. So good. I like that. This one's going a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. Especially for a park I've, never really experienced, because we were in and out in an hour and a half both days because they shut the park down.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like Six Flags Over Georgia, it's kind of my home park in a sense. Like it's my non-Florida home park. I go to it at least once, twice a year.
Yeah, I need to get up there. All right, 2019. You said you're thinking another big year, or is that with the 2017?
I think the 2017, 2018, those are your big years.
Those are your big years. Okay. Personally, I'm thinking that the water park gets a little bit more water park.
Yes.
It's a small water park right now. You have the Skull Island playset, or is that what it's called? Skull Island?
Yes, but what's funny is the Skull Island playset was there before Hurricane Harbor was built.
And I remember that one year with the drought, they couldn't run it. So yeah, you have Skull Island, then there's a slide complex, another little slide complex, and a wave pool. That's about it.
And VIP cabanas.
How can we forget about the cabanas? I think for the most part we're going to get, let me pull up the map that actually has that one. Okay. You've got a decent amount of space up towards the back half there. I don't think you really can get a lazy river in this park at all. I don't think it's really set up for it with all the roads and pathways and everything like that. But you can get some pretty interesting, maybe get one of those flying saucer slides that Volcano Bay is getting, where it has the really sharp hairpin turns.
It does look fancy.
It does, and it adds. It's almost water coaster-esque with its water jets that launch it back up the hills, and I think that would be a fun thing because you kind of have that hill right there as it is. You could actually use that where you go up the hill and kind of come down and kind of go up a little bit. So I think you're going to get that, and then let's go with.
I'm thinking they're not just going to put in one slide, so I think you'll probably get a complex with the Dropbox slides also. You'll probably get 2 Dropbox slides built on top of the side. Same slide tower. You're probably just going to get 2 of those that go like steep down, kind of thing like that.
Did they just put one of those in St. Louis?
I mean, they've put them in a lot of places.
The ones, then they twist around each other as they go down. Yep.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
It is weird though because, I mean, their water park down the street, I mean, has so many of these types of slides anyway, but they've already shown that they don't really care to compete with that one.
It's almost as like a compliment park.
Well, it literally is. Like, you can upgrade for $2 to get your season pass to include whitewater.
That's just such a weird. I mean, it must be doing well for them if they decided they wanted to keep it, because Six Flags isn't afraid to close things and move things and everything like that. So
I mean, Premier owned Premier Parks back when Six Flags was owned by them. Owned a third thing in Georgia that they closed also.
That's just weird.
American something.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
I forget what it was called. It wasn't really anything I was interested in visiting, but I just thought it was interesting. So they have their water park, but I think you're right. I think you're going to see major water park addition.
They have to. It's Atlanta. They don't call it Hotlanta for nothing, and they really don't have that much going on in their water park. They've got a couple different slides. I mean, I'm looking at one slide complex, and the far end has one slide. It's the one, and it goes into like a bowl and then goes into a weird turn thing. And then the other slide complex, it looks like it only has 3 slides. So I think they have 4 slides, a wave pool, and then whatever their Skull Mountain is, which has, it looks like 3 or 4 slides on it as well. But those are all kid slides.
Yeah.
So it's not really much of a water park. I mean, it's included with the admission. It's kind of way back there. It's a weird location for a water park.
I agree. Especially with the whole, you kind of want to put your water park entrance right up by the front gate so you don't have the people walking around your full park with their bathing suits on and things like that.
I think Dorney Park does it perfect. You walk in, immediately to your right, you've got the water park. Immediately to your left, you have the park. I think that works perfect. But yeah, I think 2019, you're going to get the saucer water slide, maybe Dropbox slide, maybe sprucing up that whole thing because it's hot. You need to cool off. And I'm thinking just other general park enhancements, repainting things, everything like that. Nothing big, nothing crazy. I think Superman's going to keep the new VR.
You think they're going to figure it out?
I think so. I think Superman VR is going to be kind of a hit. It's going to do well for them. They're going to figure out a way to actually do it in the station to where like half of the train is the VR, half the train's not. Or like one station would be VR, one station would not. Maybe something like that. I don't know. But they, does that one have 2 trains or 3 trains?
I'm sure it had 3 trains, but I've never seen anything more than 2.
It makes sense to only have 2, because it doesn't have a mid-course. And looking at the aerial view here, it looks like they only have storage for 2 trains. So I'm going to say you have 1 train, which is VR, Fly with Superman, Protect with Superman, whatever you want to call it. And then the other side is just regular New Superman Ultimate Flight. That way, if you want to wait longer for the VR coaster, you can. That's to say that one side might dispatch twice before the other side dispatches, but I think they're going to kind of understand it and speed things up. Maybe you'll get your headsets Similar to how Iron Dragon's doing it, where you'll get it and then they put the phones on when you get up there. I think I'm going to do something similar to that.
Yeah, no, I could totally see that. Iron Dragon is a little more efficient about it, but then again, they only have a small amount of people. But I think you could hand the headsets out to people. Although I don't know if you necessarily want people to handle your headsets. But I guess I handled mine at Six Flags too. I don't know, kind of weird.
I think they'll get it down. It'll be a hit, I think, and it'll be. I don't think it's going to go in the other ones. I think this is going to be the only Superman Ultimate Flight that has it because of the 2 stations. And I think they're going to tout this as a unique experience. You know, fly with or without Superman or something like that.
Sounds good.
All right, so we got 2020 now. We're 4 years into the future here. This is not going to be a big year. With all I think that Six Flags Great Adventure is going to eat up the big budget for the whole chain this year. So I don't think Overgeorge is going to get a massive thing. Looking at it, what if I were to put? I would say maybe one of the coasters gets a re-theme, possibly.
Maybe. I could see like a paint job going on somewhere, and then maybe a small flat ride.
I'm surprised they still have go-karts. Go-karts are a weird thing to have in a park these days. It just doesn't make sense to me. If maybe put in like so is that Whistle Stop station that's completely gone now, or is it just abandoned?
You know, I don't even know. I could see it being both.
Yeah, good. I say we need to remove that little section of the park. I think it's as removing that for a future attraction, and then let's do something smaller inside the park to hold people over. I'm going to say, because the whole park's not, the entire thing is not open for Holiday in the Park, is it?
No.
So I say expand Holiday in the Park a little bit. What sections do they have? Because Superman's open, right?
Superman is the back half of the park. That's as far as you go.
Is all of Gotham City open?
Gotham City is open, but like that, Blue Hawk, that area is not open. The little wilderness area, like the frontier section of the park, is not open.
Okay. I'm going to say that area opens up. The Blue Hawk now becomes, they might extend into that for the Holiday in the Park. Put on some fun, lights, maybe have like a show or something on the midway back there. Cause it's Holiday in the Park. It's going to become a bigger thing. It's a cheaper way for them to expand the park. They might put in a small flat ride somewhere in the park too. Trying to think here, because 2020 is not going to be their big year. I think it's going to be the next year.
I could totally see that.
So, and I have an idea what I want for the next year, but I'm trying to figure out what to do for this year to hold us over.
I think you said it best. I think that's a pretty good sectional thing. I have no idea what Alpy's freaking out about.
Silly pup.
Yeah.
So we got a holiday expansion, remove the go-karts, and the Thomas section, if it's still there. Because I don't think that needs to be there anymore. Because that opens up a plot of land that can be used for something.
And that leads to 2021.
Yeah, this is the first time we've gone to 2021. I think with a smaller park like this, you kind of have to look a little further into their future.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to be competing with the bigger parks in the chain. I mean, Six Flags Over Georgia is a big park, but it's not a Magic Mountain. It's not a Great America. It's not a Great Adventure.
It's probably like 5th or 6th.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm thinking, I think 2021. I think we're getting this is going to be the first major coaster, edition since the last coaster they put in was Daredevil Dive, right?
Yes.
No, in ours it's going to be the SNS 4D.
Yes.
So that's in 2018. So this is 3 years later. I'm saying T-Rex or standalone RMC.
Yeah, see, a lot of people are calling for an RMC on one of their 2 wooden coasters, but I don't think either one really has the layout for it.
Because we haven't seen an RMC take over an out and back fully yet. Most of them have been somewhat kind of twisted. I guess the closest thing we would have would be
Storm Chaser.
Yeah, and that was more twisted than, Great American Scream Machine is. And then Cyclone, they've put on a lot of the topper, haven't they?
They've put some topper, yeah.
I think, if anything, just leave that the way it is. It's not the Cyclone, the traditional Cyclone layout is a good layout. It might be a rougher ride. Mm-hmm. Just keep retracking it, and I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it's not big enough to become an RMC. I think we're going to get a standalone RMC, whether it's an Iron Horse like a Goliath or if it's a T-Rex. But I think RMC is building something.
Yeah, it seems time for this park to be due to get their RMC, and I totally agree. I don't think they have the right ride to be recreated, so it'd be perfect. I mean, it's the same reason why Great America got a standalone RMC, because they did not. American Eagle was a great ride. It wouldn't work there.
It's exactly, and their Viper already up there is an amazing wooden coaster as it is. So,
same sort of layout as Georgia Cyclone. It's that Cyclone style layout.
Mm-hmm. Because what the last major coaster that Over Georgia got was a Goliath.
06?
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a while. Their time is due. I think we need to bring people into the Atlanta area a little bit more with a ridiculous RMC. Standalone or T-Rex, whatever. It's not going to be the first T-Rex. I think someone's going to get a T-Rex before them.
Probably Magic Mountain,
but it's going to break some records, whether it's going to be wooden speed or maybe that drop, the Beyond Vertical. I don't know. I think it's going to break some sort of record.
I can see that too.
And really, I think that's kind of it. So,
that's that park. That's the future.
Yeah, a little bit more of a shorter episode for us. But, I mean, this is kind of what we wanted to aim for anyway. Something you could listen to on your morning or evening commute, or on the bus to wherever.
Shout out to people who take buses.
I've taken buses.
Yeah, no, saying hi to those people.
Lynx buses aren't bad to hear.
I was just say Orlando public transportation is pretty set up to take the bus.
That's not bad. So, Brian, I hope that you were satisfied with our predictions. And should I pull up his email and actually read what he predicted?
I was like, I think we should share it next week.
Okay, yeah. Well, we will share it next week. So, let's go over real quick what we added since we got him here. 2017, we're going to put in the Justice League where the bumper cars are. I think that was kind of already basically said that was going to happen. It looks like it's going to happen. There's nothing really different. But we're going to do what we did in Great Adventure, and also put in a restaurant, meet and greet, spruce up the whole area. And I think the fun thing will be to remove Daredevil Dives VR and make VR on Superman. I think that'll be fun.
Have a very impressive Superman VR.
Yes, it's not a half-assed job. It's an actual, it's one that people are actually going to talk about. Because right now, is there any VR attraction that people are going, wow, this is amazing. You need to go do this. Most of the time I hear that's kind of disappointing.
You'd be like, that was sort of a waste of time. Like, I'm glad I did it, but I don't really care to do it again.
I want people to get off of this thing and go, wow, that was actually really cool. And they tell their friends, and this becomes like a popular thing.
And I think the 2 stations makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. It's because not everyone's going to want to go and do the VR, but if they do, they can wait in the extra VR lane. It's almost like a front seat ride.
Uh-huh.
So, let's see. In 2018, we're going to put in one of the SNS 4D coasters, the free spins.
I think pretty much every Six Flags is going to end up having this at some point.
I think so. This is kind of the new Boomerang, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
The new Boomerang or the new SLC, which Over Georgia has neither.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to it's going to go right there in the amphitheater. We're going to get that's going to go in. I think it's going to have a impressive light package. Don't know who it's going to be themed to yet. Whether it's a villain, whether it's like a Robin or something like that. But it's going to stay in the Gotham family. It's just I don't know who it's going to be themed to.
Yeah, I definitely see that one coming, and I think 2019 on those hot summer days, everyone's going to appreciate the Hurricane Harbor expansion with the saucer water slides and Dropbox slides and additions to the water park.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. Water parks they're gaining a lot of popularity, more so than they were back in like the early 2000s, late 90s. Mm-hmm. I think. With Pro Slide and Whitewater, they're really they're one-upping each other, and I think that's good. It's it's back the way it should be. And then 2020, let's go ahead and expand the holiday in the park, expand it further into the park, new areas.
Pretty much almost the full park now.
Almost full park. Let's do lots of lights, music, fake snow. Do the hot chocolate, do everything. Just kind of really expand it, make it kind of like that thing you have to do. Kind of like how people have kind of simmered down going to Cedar Point during the summer and then they go during Halloween weekends. Make that
the time
kind of
to
the
go.
thing here. Yeah. Also to get ready for 2021, let's shut down the go-karts and start removing them. And if the Thomastown Whistle Stop, if that's still there, we aren't sure if it is still there, remove that as well. We don't need that. That whole area can be cleared up for our future 2021 expansion, which is our RMC, which we don't know if it's going to be a standalone or T-Rex, but I'm thinking it's going to be one of them, or maybe even something they haven't come up with yet.
Mm-hmm. You never know what they're coming up with. They could end up being like a 4D stand-up flippy-doopy hybrid.
And maybe they're the coaster company that brings back the suspended coaster. Who knows? So I think that's going to use that area, maybe go over the water and use a little bit of like a water element right there next to Blue Hawk. And they can expand a little bit into the parking lot. Not too much because they don't have that much parking space. But you could go a little bit into it. I don't think they're gonna miss like 5 rows of parking.
No.
So
it seems like a good couple of years.
I would definitely go up there for some of those. Give them another chance at my dollar.
Yeah.
So, as we do with every episode, we hope you enjoyed it. We would like for you to send us feedback. We want to hear, Brian, we will read your predictions on our next episode. If you have any other predictions, whether you liked or didn't like what we said, send that as well. We'll put it all in one full little thing. Also, send us, have we decided yet if we're going to do home parks again? Do we keep the 7 in there? Do we maybe do it more of a random thing? What are you thinking?
I don't really have a good idea on this one. I think anything is possible on the next episode. I think give us a reason why you are suggesting the park.
Yeah, send us a park. Suggest it. If we come up with anything else, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Park Blueprints. That's where we're going to send out all of our information, questions before our podcast, anything like that. If you want to get a hold of us, the best way to get a hold of us, the both of us at the same time, is by Twitter at Park Blueprints or at themeparkblueprints@gmail.com.
That it is.
It's the best and easiest way. You can always reach me at The Park Guides. I have a YouTube channel, The Theme Park Guides, and my Untapped is Eisentrout if you want to see what I've been drinking lately. Drew, where can we find you?
Twitter at Drew the Intern. I'm part of the In the Loop podcast team, so you can listen to the In the Loop podcast, or you can follow us on YouTube at In the Loop, youtube.com/Coaster Crew. Untapped, I am Drew the Intern.
Nice. So, thanks for listening, guys. And maybe next time we'll go to your park.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.